When Lucas and his friends went camping near Black Pine Forest, nothing seemed unusual. But that first night, around 1:47 a.m., Lucas woke up to whispering right outside his tent. Soft, urgent, calling his name. "Lucas? Lucas? Are you awake?" He thought it was his friend Tyler messing around, so he unzipped the tent and whispered back, "Dude, what do you want?" But the voice outside didn't answer. The whisper moved, circling slowly around the tent fabric. Soft footsteps, almost too light to be human. Then something pressed against the tent wall, a long, thin shape, like a finger, dragging all the way down the side of the tent. Lucas froze. He grabbed his flashlight and shined it on the fabric. No shadow, no silhouette. The whisper moved again, this time right behind his head. "Lucas, come out." He shouted for Tyler, for anyone. 2 tents unzipped at once. His friends stumbled out, half asleep and confused. "What's going on?" Lucas explained everything, panicking. Tyler shook his head. "Dude, we were all sleeping." Lucas looked at the ground around his tent. No footprints, no drag marks, no sign of anyone walking there. But as they looked closer, they noticed something odd. Every tree around Lucas's tent had deep scratch marks, all fresh, all pointing toward his tent. He refused to sleep the rest of the night. The next morning they packed and left early. But Lucas swears that as he climbed into the car, he heard it again, a whisper carried by the wind. "Lucas, next time, come out." Ethan loved solo camping. He enjoyed the silence, the isolation. So when he found a narrow trail deep in Redwood Valley with a wooden sign that simply read Camp 39, he thought he had discovered a hidden gem. The strange part, it wasn't on any map. No online mentions, no park records. Still, he set up camp. That night, while cooking by the fire, he noticed a faint light through the trees, like a lantern swaying gently. He called out. No answer. At exactly 3:12 a.m., Ethan woke up to footsteps approaching his tent. Slow, dragging, as if someone was pulling their feet through leaves. Then a voice whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Ethan froze. "Who's there?" The voice didn't reply, but he heard something breathing right at the edge of the tent. He finally burst out with a flashlight. Nothing. But when he turned back toward his tent, he noticed something horrifying. A row of old wooden signs nailed onto a tree, weathered, cracked, almost unreadable. Camp 12, Camp 24, Camp 31, Camp 39, all crossed out. Fresh claw marks slashed across the newest one, Camp 39. He didn't sleep. At sunrise, he packed and hiked back to the main trail. When he reached the ranger station, he asked about the camps. The ranger's face went pale. Those remote camps were shut down decades ago. Too many disappearances. Ethan swallowed hard. "I camped at Camp 39 last night." The ranger slowly shook his head. Camp 39 was condemned. It burned down in 1986. He hesitated. There is nothing there anymore. Nathan and his sister Chloe loved night hiking. Their parents didn't, but that didn't stop them. One summer night, they camped deep near Raven Cliff Gorge. Around 2:20 a.m., Nathan woke up because the ground was vibrating softly, as if something heavy was walking nearby. He sat up and listened. Thump. 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 Slow, heavy footsteps approaching the tent. Chloe whispered from her sleeping bag, "Nate, do you hear that?" The footsteps stopped right outside the tent. Something massive exhaled, a deep, wet breath that shook the fabric. Nathan grabbed his flashlight and, very slowly, pressed the light against the tent wall. A shadow appeared. But it wasn't a person. It was taller than a moose, but shaped wrong. Its shoulders too narrow, its neck too long, its arms hanging lower than they should. Then it bent down. The shape of a face pressed against the tent wall from the outside. Not human. A stretched mouth, hollow eyes, breathing through the fabric. Chloe began to cry silently. The creature moved on, slowly walking through the entire campsite and disappearing into the trees. At sunrise, they checked the ground. Footprints, huge, deep. But the strangest part, each footprint had only 3 toes, long, sharp, digging deep into the soil. They packed up and left immediately. When they got to the ranger station, Nathan showed the ranger a photo of one of the prints. The ranger stared at it for a long time. Then he simply said, "Whatever made that hasn't been seen here for at least 40 years. And then, almost whispering, "We hoped it was gone." I went camping with 2 friends deep inside Pine Ridge Forest. On our second night, around 1 a.m., I stepped out of the tent to pee when I noticed something swinging between the trees. A rope, fresh rope, hung about 2 meters off the ground. It swayed gently, like someone had just released it. I called my friends, and we looked around with our flashlights. Then we noticed something else. There were 3 ropes, all tied at the same height, all recently cut at the ends, all arranged in a triangle around our campsite. We thought someone was messing with us, until a voice whispered from the dark, "Wrong spot." We froze. No footsteps, no movement, just that voice, close enough to hear the breath behind it. We grabbed everything we could carry and ran to the car. As we sped down the dirt road, my friend looked back and said, "There was someone standing on the rope circle, watching us." We never camped there again. I was camping alone near Clearwater Lake. I chose a remote spot. No trails, no people, just silence. Around 3:40 a.m., I woke up to a light tapping on my tent. Not wind, not branches. Tap, tap, tap. Slow, intentional, moving from one side of the tent to the other. I stayed frozen, barely breathing, when something pressed on the fabric from the outside, like a hand sliding slowly across it. Then a low whisper came through. "Come out. I found you." I didn't move, didn't respond. After a minute of silence, I reached for my phone and called 911. The dispatcher told me to stay quiet and stay inside. While I was on the call, something crouched right next to the tent. I could hear the breathing, slow, wet, too close. And then, it laughed. Soft, childlike, completely wrong. When the park rangers arrived 20 minutes later, there were footprints around my tent. But here's the part that still haunts me. The footprints were bare, tiny, and they circled the tent 11 times. I was camping near Lake Ashmore, a place known for being quiet. The kind of quiet where you hear your own heartbeat if you stop moving. Around 1:40 a.m., I woke up because someone was whistling outside my tent. Not a tune, not a song, just a long, steady whistle, like someone trying to get my attention. I froze. My campsite was deep in the woods. Nobody should have been near me. The whistle stopped. Then a voice whispered, "I see you." I felt my chest tighten. Footsteps circled my tent, slow and deliberate, crushing leaves lightly, as if whoever or whatever was out there didn't want to scare me, just wanted me to know they were close. The whistling started again, this time right next to my head on the thin nylon wall. I grabbed my flashlight and shouted that I was armed. I wasn't, but I prayed the lie sounded convincing. Silence. Then, running, fast, the footsteps tore off into the darkness, disappearing into the trees. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, I found something pressed into the dirt next to my tent. A bare footprint. Human. Huge. And facing directly toward me. Whoever it was, they had been standing there for a long time, watching. I was on a solo camping trip near Pine Ridge Trail when I came across a small clearing, perfect spot for the night. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to a faint snapping sound, like a twig breaking under someone's foot. I unzipped my tent slowly and peeked out. That's when I saw him. A man, standing completely still in the center of the clearing. He wasn't moving. He wasn't blinking. He was just facing my tent. The moonlight hit his clothes, dirty, torn, like he'd been living in the woods for months. His eyes looked empty. No fear, no emotion, just blank. I whispered, "Are you okay?" No answer. He tilted his head slowly, like a curious dog. The motion was so unnatural it made my skin crawl. Then he took one step toward me. I zippered the tent shut and stumbled backward, heart pounding. I grabbed my keys, ready to sprint to my car if I had to. Silence. When I finally built the courage to open the zipper again, he was gone. No footsteps, no breaking branches, nothing. Just the empty clearing and a small string of rocks arranged neatly in front of my tent. They hadn't been there before. A message or a warning. I packed up before sunrise and never went back.